everybody. Walter back with another product review for you. This time for the RockJam RJMK mini keyboard. First off, right off the bat, this thing has some cool pluses for it, but it's got a couple of minuses that are gonna kind of squirrel it up a little bit. But nonetheless, overall, RockJam actually did a pretty good job on this, but they dropped the ball in a critical area. So I'll go through the features of the unit so that you can see what you're getting. But let me say right off the bat, this unit is it is way under $100. Way under it. So for what they were working with, they actually did pretty good. I think it's just a matter of tweaking to make this be one of the most outstanding mini keyboards that Amazon would carry. So let's go ahead and get started. First off, the keys on here. At first I said, I don't like that gray and black, but you know what? Your eyes get adjusted to it pretty quick. And so it doesn't really bother you much. Another thing, this is a mini keyboard. As you can see, 2/3 of the keyboard is covered by my hand. But the keys on here have good size. I can still play them. Now I'm going sideways, which kind of makes it a little more difficult. But nonetheless, the keys on here, these are nice feeling keys, decent springy action. There's a little bit stifferness to the sharp keys as opposed to the flats. But I monkeyed around with this a couple hours yesterday, and I've been playing with it again today for a couple hours. Your hands actually, once you play it the first time, the springiness feels pretty good. It's not mushy. It's not super stiff. It's firm. That is the best description. It's firm. So it actually feels pretty good. So over time, as you break these keys in a little bit, because keys do break in just a little bit over time, you should still be in great shape. And you can kind of hear me pushing down on the keys, but they're not loose. They don't wobble. There's a little mechanical action, but it actually, for a synth-weighted keyboard, especially in this price range, thumbs up. They did a nice job on the key bed. Joystick. This joystick on here is nice too. Little, about the size of a dime on top or a penny. You push it up, you push it down, pull it down, you get modulation. Right, you get pitch bend up, pitch bend down. So it works good, and then you can combo it. So you can do a pitch bend up and then move the modulation wheel, joystick up or down to kick in a little modulation. So you can get two actions off of it real easy. And I like that. So that actually works pretty good. And it's got a nice, it's firm but not too stiff. So it works really good. So that'll give you a nice combo action with this XY, because that's what it's called. XY pattern, joystick, pitch bend and modulation. Works really good. The buttons on the unit, they've got that silicone rubber feel to them. So they feel good, and they got a little throw. In other words, you can see it kind of mashing up and down a little bit as I mash on them. So it's got a little up and down action to it. Feels real good. Gives you a nice positive response. And then you can see what you're doing with the display window over here. That is a small LED display window, but you won't be able to really appreciate it on camera. But nonetheless, when I fire it up, you'll see it come on. It's black and white, but it gives a really nice, clear, crisp images on the screen. And it's an LED screen, works great. You've got 8 trigger pads on this unit. Silicone rubber, nice slide to them, but just a little hint of a grab as you go along. So that works well. Not a lot of throw to these. There's more motion to these buttons going up and down than on these pads. But that's kind of standard for a lot of drum pad units. They're fairly firm, but these aren't so firm that it hurts to tap on them. So that's a good thing. The dials on here are continuous rotor dials. Left or right, they just keep spinning. And so you can dial in with accuracy the different numbers for the control changes, MIDI note numbers, and volume settings, pan, and all that kind of stuff. And we'll actually program a couple of these just so you can see how it works. Because the thing about this unit that really gets me, that I like, is so easy to program. These 8 pads, you program them off of the button that's up above it. You literally hold down this pad button, and then you just turn the knob to select whatever the option is that you're looking for as far as capability, as far as setting it up. But now, it doesn't go real deep because there is no software for this RockJam. You control everything and set everything up using the dials and the function buttons and your little screen. But since this unit costs way, way under $100, I'm not faulting them for it not being very deep. Although I didn't really get much in the way of velocity setting for these pads. Basically speaking, you got a pad level over here. And when you hit that button, it gives you the full 128 increment steps of velocity. So it's either turn that on and you get full velocity no matter how hard you hit the pads, or you turn it off and you get the velocity that you would achieve from how hard you strike the pads. That will be fine and dandy, except for one thing. When you strike these pads, the velocity, you really have to hit them. That's the real killjoy of this unit, because the box, the case, it's nice and sturdy and firm. It only weighs about maybe 2 pounds, but it feels real good, feels real sturdy. The construction on this RockJam RJMK mini keyboard is nice. Everything about it I like is nice, especially considering it's a meat and potatoes mini controller. But I like it. But these pads, that's the big minus. But let's fire it up. Now, this does have a battery in it that charges up when you connect it to a USB-C connector and hook it up to your computer. You can also use an external one as well, a power supply, and hook that up to it. It's in the owner's manual, but you can charge it up and work it off a battery. I like to plug my stuff up. It does have Bluetooth, but I like plugging my stuff up. So let's fire it up. Let me show you the back panel on here so you can see the input jacks. So you get the power switch. This is a battery-powered unit, so it can run off of the internal battery that gets charged every time you plug in the USB-C connector. And it does come with a USB-C connector cable, so you can plug it into your computer. It connects and gets recognized automatically by Windows. I'm using Windows 10, but it works just fine with that. And so it should work with Windows 11, and it also works with the Mac because it's MIDI standard plug and play, basically speaking. It also has an 1/8 inch mini jack connector on it for external MIDI connections. So you can actually hook a mini jack. It doesn't supply it with the unit, but you can hook up an 1/8 inch MIDI jack that has a standard female connection on the other end with the 5-pin DIN connector, so that you can hook this directly into a MIDI keyboard or drum machine or other MIDI device that uses standard MIDI input-output jacks on it, which is real nice. And it also has a full-size 1/4-inch sustain pedal jack on it, which is a nice plus instead of having that mini one, because most foot pedal jacks that are made for full-size keyboards, they use a 1/4-inch connector. So it's nice to have that pedal jack on there for sustain. But now, let me reach back here and fire it up. You heard the little Windows do-do-do-do, which means it recognized it just that quick, and it is ready to go. So, now, off screen, I've got my DAW software. I've got my Mixcraft. And I got a piano sound on it. So you can get a chance to hear it while I'm tapping on the keys a bit. But before I go any further, ladies and gentlemen, I try to put this in every video. I am not a musician, but I love the gear. So I'm always studying it and reading the manuals and stuff like that. So if my playing isn't all that hot, remember, I am not a musician, but I love the MIDI gear. All right, now, but nice action, like I said before, off these keys. Nice action. You got transpose keys, buttons right here, so you can actually go octave keys up here, transpose keys right here. So octave up, octave up, octave up, right there. Now, if I hit both of these at the same time, it does not recenter it. I have to walk it back down. But as you can see, all the octave range is there. And when the lights are off, it's centered. Same thing with the transpose. So basically it's 6 steps up, 6 steps down, which is an octave, because you get 12 notes in an octave. But that makes it handy, because if you're playing with somebody, say you got a singer in particular, they might say, why play in this key? Well, if you just use your transpose, bring it back down, bring it down. You can transpose your keyboard 6 notes up, 6 notes down to match the singer. So then when you play the song, you don't have any problem. Now, if you're a professional musician, you're trained, you're a very highly skilled musician, they can play in any key. It's just built into their mind after a while, and their fingers, how to play in different keys. But for somebody who doesn't play in different keys, the transpose buttons and the octave buttons come in real handy, especially that transpose for matching the tone of a particular instrument or singer. And then the octave buttons come in handy for as well. Plus, stop and think about it. If I switch off from the piano to the drums, and I play these keys, that's the tom-tom. But hit the octave button. Right now, I'm where you usually are when you're playing drums on a keyboard. That last octave, that lowest key on there, is usually your kick drums and your snares. Those buttons work great. And then you have your arpeggiator here, tap tempo here. You can set your controller knobs with this button, pad controller here. Then you got a loop function, note repeat, bank A and B. And then you've got full level here. The bank A and B buttons pertain to the buttons, the rotary knobs, and the pads. So you can have 2 kits set up on the unit, stored in memory in A and B slots. Okay, but we can play the drums off the keyboard because some people, I've seen guys and gals who can play the drums on the keyboard and they're using all 5 fingers. They might even use 10 fingers. And they're playing all the drums just like it sounds basically in a kit. You know, a real drummer would play, which is really cool. So if you got that kind of skill level, using the keys probably work good. Now, the pads, as I said earlier, the big problem with these pads is the lack of sensitivity. Now, I'm hitting on the pads. Now, the little window, I'm blocking it, but the little window shows the velocity. Let's see. See how you can see how that window's moving? You got progress bar. It shows you the velocity that you're hitting, but I gotta hit it kind of hard because I'm sure you can probably hear the sound of the thump of me hitting this pad as well as hearing the sound. The sensitivity can be overcome if you want everything to just register at 128 value by using the pad full level button. Now, no matter how soft or hard I hit it, everything is going to come out even. But that also kills nuance, because once you start grooving with some music, you might hit some notes that are going to be harder and softer than others because it just matches the feel of the groove that you play. And that is hard to do. You really have to hammer these pads. You really got to hammer those pads to get any reaction. And that's the one big gripe I have about this is the pads. That is what is killing this unit, is for me giving it an ultimate 5 stars, because everything else about it I like. Let me show you something. I'm going to go pad bank B because that's going to give me different sounds. I already said pad bank A up, but I'll set up pad bank B. And so there's 2 ways to do this. I can set up, I'll hit that first pad there. All you have to do with this unit, it's so small, it's kind of hard to see, but I'll try to keep my hand out of the way. But I can hold down this pad button. That puts me in edit mode right off the bat. All I got to do, I'll hit that first pad, spin the dial once, because you heard it was a hi-hat. Spin it some more. That's a snare. I know number 36 is a kick drum. Is number 37 a kick drum? Nope, that's a rim shot. 35. There we go. Let's do that. Let it go. It's locked in. Just that easy. And you can do it by just listening. Let's go to the next pad. That should be a snare. Hold down the pad selector. Spin the dial. It'll show you the MIDI note number when you spin the dial. Almost there. There we go. Let it go. It's in. Just for the heck of it, I got my MIDI drum map. Let me bring that up. I want a hand clap. So a hand clap is number 39 on the MIDI spec. We're going to put that hand clap when we're hearing that symbol. So I hold this down, and the MIDI clap, let me get that hand clap one more time, is number 39. So hold this down, hit that pad. And really, you don't even have to hit the pad. I'll scroll down, there's 39, let it go. Let's go ahead and put some tom-toms. Now, according to my chart, this is 50, this is 48, and this will be 45. 50, so let's go. I'll just spin it. Do it the easy way. 50. 48. And this one will be 45. Let it go. Let's see. It's just that easy to program. No software needed. And like I say, you can dial in the numbers. Because you got your screen, it shows the MIDI numbers. When you spin the dial, it shows you the MIDI numbers. So that works great. Another plus on this unit, I created a song with my Mixcraft DAW. Now, I'm going to play this, just a bass and a drum thing, but I'm going to, let me select my bass there. I'm going to set up a couple of these knobs here, on here for you. And I can do it while the music's playing, but I'll set them up first. And basically what we're going to do is I will bring up the RockJam menu. We want volume level, which is 007, and I want pan, which is 10. So now, if we go back to our unit, controller, I just hold this down. It works just like with the drum pad setup. Hold the button down, spin the dial that I want. The numbers come up. And so I want to spin this all the way down to 007, right there. And it shows in the window volume control. So that one's set. Now, over here, I need 10. So I'll spin it until the number gets all the way down to 10. You do have to spin it a little bit. Several spins to get down, but there's 128 steps. And by having a fine spin on it instead of a coarse spin, you don't overshoot. There we go. Now, number 7, I can see it in the window. It says CC number 7. Spin the next one. It says CC number 10. So now, I'm going to play my music, and we'll see if we can monkey around with the mix with the volume control. So let me bring up my Mixcraft, and I'll fire up this little loop. And I'm going to select the bass. Get it selected. Now, the bass will be coming in here in a second. And we'll start messing with the volume. Here we go. That's maximum volume. Now let's bring it all the way down to 0. As you can see, the volume does work. Works pretty good too. And you see how easy it was to set it up. It's hard to see it. Let me see. I'll go in like that. But the window will show you where you're at. The progress bar will take you all the way up. And then it starts over. And then once it gets to the top, it goes to 127. So on this unit, it's 0, 127. But it's still 128 steps in the MIDI set. Now, let's see something here. The loop just started over. So as soon as the bass starts, we'll monkey with the pan and see how that works. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. There it goes to the left. That's all the way to the left. Hard left. Now I'll spin it back to the right. 64 is the middle one because you got 128 steps. So 64 puts it exactly in the middle. But now let's go all the way to the right. There we go. 128 steps, and you can see it's on the left. I mean on the right, all the way on the right. Now I'll bring it back down to 64. There, centered back at 64. So as you can see, programming this thing is a joy. This unit, if the pads work better, as far as sensitivity goes, it would get a full 5 rating, because it may not have deep programming, just up the sensitivity level on these pads, and this unit would be a 5. But since these pads are not very good, I'm sorry, RockJam, I hate to do it, but I'm going to give you a 3. Everything about this unit, ladies and gentlemen, I like. I like it. I love the way the keys feel. It's got a nice solid body, full-size 1/4-inch foot switch on the back, plus the little 1/8 inch out to a standard MIDI female jack, so you can hook it up to other standalone MIDI instruments, especially that old gear you might have that's got bad buttons on it that don't work, but the unit itself still works. With these 8 controllers up here, you could set things up nice. The joystick over here, that XY pattern joystick, I like that. I like everything about this RockJam. It is the biggest surprise of the units that I've tested so far as controllers, MIDI controllers. This is the biggest surprise, but the biggest disappointment is right here. Being able to program off of these knobs as quickly and easily as you want, because you can listen to it or use a drum map, is great. Just downright fabulous. And you do get an A and B save location. And so being able to audition the sounds while you program the pads, that's a 5-star right there. Everything about this is 5-star except for this. So the overall rating gets dropped to a 3. These pads are dragging it down. So RockJam, talk to the manufacturer. If you're not the manufacturer yourself, tell them to increase the sensitivity on these pads. If you do that, you get yourself a rock solid unit. 5 stars easy. Because this will get all the meat and potatoes programming you want as far as in a controller. And a price that is way, way under $100. This will become the hottest selling unit on Amazon. Because once people found out how easy it is to program, now unless they're looking for some really super expressive controller for the price and convenience of the way you can edit this thing, this would blow out a lot of the competition. Fix. Just go back to the firmware. Get these buttons so that they respond more responsively, so you don't have to bang on them so hard, and you'd have it. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I got to give it a 3. Now, if these pads don't mean anything to you, because you're not really going to be doing that, or if you already have a stick pad, drum pad unit that you use, or a full-size digital drum set that you use, or you got a standalone drum pad controller that has 8, probably 16 pads on it, and using that is much easier for you, because for one thing, you'd have 16 pads to hit, and they would be bigger than this, more than likely. And so you'd set that up and use that instead of these. Then I recommend that you just go ahead and get this unit. If the drum pads don't really mean anything to you, ladies and gentlemen, the feel of the keys, the programmability of the control knobs up here, if you just want something small, a mini unit, this will do it. But hopefully, RockJam, you'll just go in and tweak the firmware so these pads are more sensitive, so you don't have to hit them so hard. You want that nuance in your playing, and that requires a more sensitive trigger pad. 3 stars overall, minus the pads, if you don't need them, 5. And this unit costs way, way under $100. So you'll be hard-pressed to find a better MIDI controller, a little mini one, with this kind of feel and finish to it, than this RockJam RJMK mini keyboard. Thanks for watching. See you next time.